Hey, what's up, guys? Back to work on the hot rod tractor for a little bit here. I wanted to drive it the other day, and the lithium battery I had died, like, completely. I can't get it to charge up anymore. So I got to go back to the regular sized battery, but it doesn't fit where I want it, which I used to have this regular sized battery on a battery tray right here in the middle, and then when I put the lithium in, I just actually zip tied it up in there. This one won't fit where that one was. So I've already started working on this, and I cut the supports I had for the seat mount out. And I have, I had this little fuel tank, 2-gallon. This is what I've always had on there. 2-gallon, but I only had it zip tied to the back. I didn't ever make a bracket for it. So the problem with it mainly, besides it being smaller than I'd like, that seam in the middle leaks. So you can't fill it more than halfway or it leaks really bad anyway. And it only holds 2 gallons, so either way it's kind of small. So I have this fuel tank, which is the original. So this is the original gas tank from this machine. It actually normally sat underneath the seat. Of course, the regular lawnmower with its very tall rear fender, it would be in between the transaxle and the seat. Obviously, you know, you're thinking, wow, that's really kind of silly the way it sticks out. Well, I have this tail that I made out of a wheelbarrow a while back, and that is going to kind of sit over top of it. It's not going to completely cover it, but there's more to do after I get that on. I'm going to probably try to maybe finish it off on the bottom or put something on the side, or maybe not. I don't know. But basically what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to go ahead and extend with the same material this frame out, probably just like a square. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it yet. Usually I just kind of wing it as I go. I just start cutting and welding and see where I end up. So yeah, I'm going to make something to mount that gas tank. And then the battery, I will end up making a battery tray on top of the gas tank. So everything, the battery and the gas tank will all be underneath this tail in the back. And then I'll just make the tail probably hingeable, maybe just removable, not sure yet. I just got to grind the nubs off where I had cut that off. Alright, so I got this prepped. I had to grind. It's a hell of a job grinding the nub off of there. Of course, still building with scrap. Same scrap I used to build the frame before, so gonna put that like that. Cut the same piece for the other side. And how we're going to go ahead and make that straight is I just got this flat piece here, and I'm just going to clamp that in place, and that should get me about as straight as it can be, hopefully. And you know, it's not that critical, but it does need to allow the tank to sit on there. I'm not welding that there because the tank's going to be riding on that. So we're just going to go and butt weld that up, and then I'll probably put I'll plate it at least on the bottom, maybe on the side, one or the other. It doesn't really matter where. It could be both. I do want to add a little bit more strength than just butt welding it, because a lot of weight, although some of the weight's going to be on here, some of the weight's going to be on here, and the gas is pretty heavy. So, and the battery is going to be ultimately up there as well. So it's going to be a lot of weight back here. Your eyeball is your friend. No need to measure anything. If it looks straight, then it is straight. Not the greatest gap situation, but I ain't going to sit here forever grinding it to try and make that gap good. I'm just going to weld it. Because you can weld the Grand Canyon with a MIG welder, so. Oh man, this thing is dirty as hell. Yeah. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm like, why does it look like shit? I forgot to turn the gas on. Oh yeah, you hear that? It's a lot better sounding too. That was way better. She's actually got pretty good power for being on the extension cord. There ain't no difference. All I was going to say is, I look absolutely ridiculous because I'm wearing this coverall that doesn't fit me whatsoever, but it's all I got right now, and it's beautiful. It keeps my clothes from being ruined. And I am notorious for ruining my clothes whenever I'm working on something. I don't change into... I just wear like good clothes. I go outside, next thing you know, those good clothes are toast. Alright, well, we're getting somewhere. We got the fundamental frame member welded up. And I'm gonna figure out what I need to do to mount it. So this is gonna just set on there, and with this area here, I'll be able to have basically a hold down that'll just bolt in place down to those cross members, or those frame members. And then what I'm planning to do is, I'm not exactly sure how this is going to go just yet, but somehow the battery is going to go on top of this. Obviously I'm going to need to have some sort of structure, some sort of battery tray. So I'm not so sure yet. Everything's just going to kind of come together as I go. When I make the stay for the fuel tank, it may also incorporate support, a new support for the seat back, because that has to be done as well. So the mount for the gas tank, the battery tray, and the new reinforcement for the seat back needs to kind of all just come together, and each thing needs to work with each other. So as I figure that out, I shall film some updates. I'm not gonna, I don't know, I find it to just be not necessary to film everything that I'm doing. I don't know, you let me know in the comments if you'd rather see more of the actual fabrication, but I mean, honestly, cutting a piece of metal and welding it on, there's really nothing to that. It's not that interesting to me, so I just don't think it'd be that interesting for you. I think seeing kind of how I do it, what I come up with, and more or less the end result of what I do is what I feel like is more interesting. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Am I not detailed enough when I make a video like this? Well, I'm gonna keep going and see where I end up. Yes. Oh wow. That fits perfect. There's like almost no play side to side at all. That is freaking amazing. It couldn't have been any better. And those are perfectly straight with the frame, so that's as good as that gets. So, yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to set it up. However, whatever bolts down right there may be partly, may be the battery tray in effect, and then tie into this. Maybe I'll make it actually bolt to this. Could bolt to here, to be honest. I'm not sure yet. Again, I'm winging it as I go. I just sort of have the ideas come to me as I make them, I'm actually really happy with that. That even, like, literally even without the tail, I'm not offended by the way that looks. I think with the seat on there, it wouldn't look too bad, but yeah, it is definitely going to get the tail to cover it, though. Awesome thing about this tank, too, is it doesn't work now. I need to get a new one, but it'll have a, if I get a new one of these, it'll have an actual level gauge on that. Yeah, this is going to be sick. And hopefully that tank doesn't leak. Alright, check it out. So I've been staring at this, coming up with all the material I have laying around, hoping I don't have to go buy anything. And I'm just got to think about it sometimes. You don't have to overthink it. Sometimes the simplest way is the way. So I was looking at, now remember, I got this fuel tank here, and I gotta have the battery on top of it. So I was thinking, okay, I have this piece of material here with the holes in it. I was going to go down, somehow bolt it to the frame there. The battery would go here, but of course it needs to sit on a battery tray. It needs to have some support. Too many complications. I need to have this supported and everything. So here is where I just found myself. Let me show you. So this fuel tank, I was thinking this fuel tank, it doesn't have to, you know, obviously I want it to be a removable, right? So it doesn't have to drop in from the top. It can slide in from the back like this. And let me see, can you see what I'm doing? Yeah. So the fuel tank in the end can be removable by sliding it out. There can be a bracket back here that is bolt-on going across here to hold it from going out like that. Got this 1/2 inch by 1/2. Probably would be better if I had 3/4, but I'm thinking that'll go right on top of the tank. So it'll be a nice snug fit to where the tank is going to be, you know, held in from the back and held down with these. This will weld directly. I will weld this. No need to bolt this on. This can weld to that and then go down. No, because then it's not going to be able to slide back. But I will figure out how we get it back here. I can run it across, and ultimately I need to come. Oh, I don't know where I'm going to do what I'm going to do here. So again, I'm still kind of trying to figure it out, but I'm on to something here, I think. So this is going to hold the tank down, but it is simultaneously going to be structure for my battery box. Okay, so this is going to be simpler than I thought. Basically, the tank will just slide into here. There'll be just one bracket, effectively, at the back here to hold it from sliding out. This will simultaneously be part of the gas tank mount. If you think about it, it's just sliding under it. And then the battery tray, I probably am gonna have to buy more of this material, to be honest, is gonna be here. It'll be made to structure. This will be part of the structure of the battery box. Somehow this needs to tie in, though, to the lower frame, because I need to somehow tie this in. Now I am gonna put some gussets. I got enough room down here, down there, where I can put gussets to actually strengthen this, but I'm still not going to trust that. I really do want something more, you know, something up here. So, you know, I can still make that bolt on. I'll have something that can like bolt on, maybe going to there. Actually, it doesn't have to bolt on. It could just be welded. As long as I can tie in whatever I do there to the lower frame, otherwise it's not going to be enough strength. So yeah, I'll keep figuring it out. That'll work. The foil tape worked beautifully. I pulled it back a little just because I did hit it a little bit more there, and I don't want to push my luck with it. But got that piece in the middle. It slides in and out really nice and snug. I also don't want to pull it out just yet because, you know, I don't want it to like cool and then move. I'm not sure how I'm going to tie it into the bottom frame. Alrighty, my friends. So got the fuel tank. I don't know if I showed this already, but I'll show it again. So the fuel tank sitting on those two frame members that are now extending off the back. That top part welded to there. It is primarily the source in which that holds the tank in place, but there's going to be a crossbar back here that's going to bolt into place. So as of right now, this tank can slide right out of there, and it'll be still obviously be able to do that. What I'm working on right now, and let me just say real quick, I'm going to add some structure from here up to this frame. In order to really take up that weight, because the battery being up here, the fuel weight, all of that plus this seat back pushing back on that is going to be a lot of stress. So there will be a structure made there. We'll get to that when we get to that. What I want to look at right now and show you is part of my solution for the seat structure, which of course was cut out in order to do this. I cut out in order to do this. And slide that out of the way. So what I'm working on right now is a nice little flat piece here. Gusset is going to go in just like that. And that's a pretty thick piece, so that should do a real good job. You can see here, I have already gotten this side going. And yeah, you can make fun of my welds. I'm the worst welder on the planet, but I can make them strong, so good enough for me. Alright, well, still working on that fuel tank and battery tray situation. Here's a little teaser of something that's going to be coming up, hopefully. And again, I regretted not filming what I was doing, but I feel like it was pretty simple and I could just explain it. So same material that is, cut a piece for the middle. That of course has to be removable, so the tank, that's what will hold the tank in. Some flat bar, welded it to there. Those are actually, I think, like original tractor bolts. They're just like self-tapping bolts. I was going to bolt and nut it, but I had those and it worked perfectly through here. So that's there. And then this is just tacked in place right now. I'm not sure. I was really struggling to figure out how I was going to do this. So the whole thing is this whole piece and those there, that all slides on and bolts in place because I want that to be able to support this, because the battery will be mounted on top of it. Now, theoretically, I don't really need to bolt those or secure those to that, I don't think, but I do want to. And of course, that is welded to there, and everything the tank actually is just sitting on that frame, and then it's all sandwiched in there. Now, the battery tray, I didn't weld this in yet, but it's just going to sit on there, and with the same 1/2 by 1/2 square material, I'm going to make the battery tray, the actual stay, or the tray, whatever you want to call it, the battery box, I guess you could say. And the only thing that does kind of suck is where the fuel line comes out, because it comes out facing back right there. But that's not a big deal, Once the rear tail is on, if that line is protruding from there, that won't be a big deal. And I may just make like a shield for it so it doesn't catch on anything. And I actually have on this machine a hard line, an aluminum hard line that runs all the way up to the engine. But it ends right there, because that's about where the old frame used to end. Basically got the mountation figured out for the fuel tank and the battery. Right now, I'm just routing this battery positive cable. The ground, of course, will just go somewhere back here, bolt to the frame. The cable is just more repurposed junk, which is, of course, not junk. That's why I like to keep everything. I don't even know what that came off of. Might have been from my old Jeep. Might have been from my dad's Thunderbird back in the day. I don't know. But it's kind of overkill. It's a majorly thick cable, but overkill is better than underkill. So, got that baby starting it. Now, I was considering drilling a hole and routing it straight down. And actually, I wanted to maybe use this grommet It's like a plastic grommet, but I don't have a drill. My unibit doesn't go that big, and it's really close to the belt, so you can actually see the belt right there. So I didn't want to have it right there, and my foot is not here. You know, my foot rests up here, so it's not really going to be in the way. And that'll just run right along the frame and come up to the battery there. So right now I am going to put this fuel tank in place, and that way I can actually figure out where exactly everything needs to be. I also went ahead and reinforced this rear frame, which I was going to go and buy some like angle iron and kind of run that all the way up to there, but I just was like, you know what, screw it. I just put those pieces in right there. I found out something too when I did that. I was welding that in place at night. That light right there, if I have that light fired up, there's not enough power for the welder. So I was struggling really hard trying to figure out what the hell was going on. I could not get that metal to weld properly. It was like really jumping all over the place, and you could see all the crappy welds, which, oh well, they are what they are now. Then finally, there, that weld is a representation of after I turned the light off and realized that was my problem. So basically, if I'm welding at night, I cannot be running the light. I have another like LED light that I ended up using to make that happen. But all right, so continue on, get that put together, and see where we're at. I'm going to end up having to take all this back apart to paint it anyway, but... Alright, well, I've been trying to figure out how I was going to set this battery mount up. I also considered just using another piece of bigger threaded rod I had and welding it. But then I decided I'll just weld this. So I was gonna drill a hole into this. That was my most recent thought. And then have it come through as it's supposed to do and go up to there. Now the problem with this battery is it can't go right in the middle, so it's got to go back here. So at an angle. I hate to just make it just fit this battery. Alright, check it out. What do we think? I did not want to use a ratchet strap. I was staring at all these different options for making the thing the screw-on kind of bolt-on situation. I didn't like the way any of that was going to look or function. I found this, some sort of retainment strap, a bag, I don't know what. It's not a belt because it's too short to be a belt, although, I don't know, maybe it's just cut because it does look cut. I don't know if it's going to work for sure, but this, I think this is going to be pretty legit. Yeah, maybe that'll work. Alright, we are in weld mode. The other light is off. Just figured I'd show you the update as to where I'm at, since I've, in my typical fashion, am not filming everything. Alright, so one thing that I wasn't sure about was leaving... I originally put these on here with this in mind, to bolt that to there. Obviously that can't be permanent because the tank would never be removable. Whenever I welded that stuff up there, I kind of warped this up a little bit, so there's like a couple millimeters of play between the tank, which gives it a little bit of a wobble. Nothing bad, it would be fine, but so here we go. So I took this threaded rod, stuck it in there about that far, and welded it right to it. And what I'm going to end up doing is this flat bar will weld across there and have holes in it to basically, well, when that slides on, it'll be part of that, and it'll slide over those threads. We'll nut it on, and that will be ultra secure. And I will wait till tomorrow when it's daytime to show properly everything else, because we have power and ground all hooked up now as well. And it looks like my fuel line is even going to be long enough. So, I'm back at it. Alright, and she is, I think, ready to drive. I just threw these garden tractor wheels and tires on that I recently got because there was snow. But as you can see, there is no more snow. So, I don't know. I'm just going to leave those on there for now, though. Take it for a drive. And, yeah, so here is what we came up with. It is basically complete. I mean, it is complete besides taking it all apart and painting it again. You know, just got that there. Retains the battery. And that looks crooked on camera, but that is straight. And then you have this strap. This guy is really tight in there. That's very good. Ground wire goes down and bolts to the frame. One thing I forgot to film before I put the seat on is the positive lead runs underneath there. And it comes up to the solenoid, down through. And actually that was just a wire I had laying around and it was in complete length. I just took it and used it and it was perfect. Perfect length. Yeah, it comes right up through there. I got a little loom there just to protect that against that edge there. Oh, and I don't know how much of this I actually filmed, but basically welded flat bar onto that square tube, square pipe, which is the same as this. These are welded onto it as well. So that whole deal there slides right on. This flat bar is welded to these, and that is threaded rod just welded inside of here. That way that whole back section can come off, you know, in order to take it all apart, remove the tank. Don't really have this exactly how I want it for the fuel line just yet, because I'm just throwing it together to get it to drive real quick. But that's just going to work to get me down the road a little bit. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that. I have more of that hard line that I used for this, and I might run that all the way back and just have a little loop or a little elbow for that. Yeah, and I'd like it to not be on the outside of the frame, but that's kind of how it has to be right now because of the angle where that comes out and everything. So I get a new gas cap. I got a gas gauge too, but this one doesn't. It's all like hazed over. You can't see it. Probably fire right up because it already had gas in that line. It hasn't been that long. warm up before it'll actually idle. Wrong frickin' switch. I hit the headlight switch instead of the off switch. Or I should hit the off switch instead of the headlight switch. Alright, so as you can already tell, this first drive, there was no footage to be had. I mean, I had the camera on my chest mount, and you just couldn't see anything. So I did end up going back out again, but before I play that footage, we'll just look at the only cool thing that you can kind of see in this little drive here was when I was on my way back, and I ended up behind a car coming down the hill. And I was actually, I guess, going a little bit more than the speed limit because I caught right up to them. It was only a 30-mile-an-hour road, though. Alright, well, that footage I tried getting was absolute garbage, so for whatever reason I decided to put those wheels back on it. Alright, here's to hoping that battery still has a charge. I don't see why it won't. It's off that Husqvarna. Oh no, don't give me a Charlie horse in my foot. Seriously? Alright, not good. Yeah, it's off the Husqvarna, so it should be good. Choke, ignition. God. Dude, I can't. That was crazy. My head is so cold I can't see anything. I'm gonna try it in this angle and see what it looks like. Well, it doesn't appear that you can really see anything in this view. It doesn't appear you could see much in this view because of the way the angle is, so I'm going to put it back. Fucking shifted it the wrong way. I went through that big ass ditch. Well, it's kind of rough down here, huh? Oh man. When I got down to the end of the driveway there, I turned off too early, or well, I wasn't paying attention. I didn't really see because I couldn't see anything. I went through this big ditch. Why is that so? It's not loose, but it's, you know what it is? It wore in. The bushings, seems like the bushings are from running it. Need to retighten. I need to retighten the front end. Why am I not getting any action out of that? There we go. But the nuts are all tight. Everything seems tight. It's just that there's a lot of movement. Now, what the weird thing was, man, it really started feeling weird again. It started feeling like, I mean, I know those I noticed when I put those wheels on, those hubs are like wobbly on the axle. But the nuts are all tight. So everything is tight. Nothing's like falling apart. But there's actually the whole entire wheel, because the way the hub is, kind of has a little bit of this, a little bit of movement, basically in all directions. So it can independently, each wheel can technically kind of rear steer the machine just a little bit, and a little bit is a lot when you're talking about the frickin' 45, 50 miles an hour or whatever I was going. It definitely rips a lot harder with these wheels and tires. Part of that's just because of the gearing of the basically having these on there. They're a lot taller. They're like probably a couple inches taller. So that partially, that was it. The gearing made it a little slower, but also the weight of them as well. So it was ripping. I was able to get a little higher in the RPM. Although I noticed that it really sounds like it's screaming, but the tack is only getting to about 41, 4200. So I don't know if my tack's off a little or if it's just that's all it is. But yeah, I don't know. Definitely the footage was kind of dark. I didn't get to look at it yet, but when I put it on the regular lens, it was just so bright in my face because I had the phone on my head mount, which is literally, I mean, I basically had the phone hanging in front of my eyes, and I was barely able to look under it. And then on top of that, I had wind blowing in my eyes, and then I had, I couldn't see anything. It was really bad, except for it was just not bad enough to where I could actually do it. I need to have like a proper GoPro mount and a helmet with like a helmet. If I wear my helmet, my motorcycle helmet, and ride it like that with a GoPro on my head might be better. Although, well, maybe on a chin mount or something. I don't know. The hard thing is getting a good POV shot on this machine because of like the position that you're in. Now, during the day, that shot would be perfect in the day, but the problem is at night that wide-angle lens doesn't really work in low light. But that's that. Alright, so the second time I'm doing this outro, but this time it's actually an outro. So actually you can see that's about where I had this thing. Thing was right here. I was kind of looking right underneath of it, and that was that. So yeah, if you guys like what you see, you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, like the video, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.